So I'm currently in Bangkok, the sprawling capital of Thailand, the second largest city in Southeast Asia, and by many metrics, the most visited city in the entire world. Now, Bangkok is probably one of the most interesting cities I have ever been to, and I've now been spending a bit of time here, sort of checking it out, feeling it out, seeing how I like it. And for the past few months, I've been basically all around Asia. I've been to Hong Kong, Bali, Vietnam, all kinds of places. And I previously lived in Europe. My main base now is in Dubai. So in this video, I just want to give you my thoughts around Bangkok as to how it compares to all of the other places I've been to. What are my overall impressions about it? And would I perhaps consider Bangkok as either a main or a secondary home for myself as an online business owner? Let's find out. And by the way, you might be quite surprised about some of the things I'm about to tell you about Bangkok. So what are my overall first impressions about the vibe of the city? What is the city like? Well, it is in many ways a city of contrast. On one hand, it is extremely lively and chaotic, but in many ways, it is also extremely modern and cosmopolitan. It can be very cheap, but it can also be very expensive. It is dirty, but in many ways also extremely clean. Now, Bangkok is a city that is developing extremely fast, and you can feel this growth and this energy around you. You see some things that are extremely developed, especially when it comes to technology, like the sort of apps you have access to, the convenience. That is all extremely developed. For example, hospitals, extremely modern. I haven't been to them, but I've heard of this because they use all of the most modern technology. So sort of these kinds of things that are easy to develop fast, like the technology, in many ways is more developed than some of the first world places that I've lived in, like London or Helsinki in Finland, for example. But in other ways, it is definitely also very behind, specifically perhaps in terms of cleanliness, in terms of some of the infrastructure. The traffic is extremely bad. Air pollution is a bit of a problem. What you see around you when you walk around Bangkok is just so much life. There's just so many things happening around you. You see the hustle. You've got food stores of people selling all kinds of amazing and also very weird foods that you've never seen before in your life. You've got massive malls with everything always happening inside of them. You've got the famous massage girls always shouting at you, "Massage, massage." The way I usually describe Bangkok to people who I know is that it's sort of like if you've ever played those kinds of like open world RPG sort of adventure games where you have this big open world that you're exploring, like a game like Witcher 3, for example, where every area you go to is sort of very different. Like you never really know what you're going to get. Bangkok is kind of like that. You can just walk around it, get completely lost, and you never know what you're going to find out. It's the most stimulating and exciting city I have ever been to. And yes, also if you're looking for the other kind of stimulation and excitement, you can certainly find that as well. Not that I would know anything about that. But in terms of livability, because that is really what I want to focus on here, I kind of have a love-hate relationship with Bangkok. Because like I said, in certain ways, when you walk along, for example, the Sukhumvit Road, it is extremely modern. There's green, there's massive malls, there's like stuff happening. It has this hustle and bustle energy that I really love in the city. But at the same time, it is not, let's say, the cleanest city in the world. It is not the nicest smelling city in the world. It is extremely crowded, extremely hot and humid. Now, I like hot places, but not this hot. Like Bangkok, especially at this time of the year in the summer, it is very hot. I feel like what is happening is that all the humidity is being trapped by the buildings in this massive city, and that is being like combined with the air pollution and things like this, and it just makes for this like very kind of suffocating environment to walk around in during the day. Although in the morning and at night, it is actually extremely pleasant a lot of the time. Now let's talk about food. Now you sort of have the whole range of food options here. On one hand, if you want to make food for yourself, you have great supermarkets, all these amazing food markets where you can get any kind of food you can imagine. And then as sort of the second kind of food you can eat is obviously restaurants. The restaurants here are amazing, and you can get some very high-end restaurants. Bangkok really has everything to offer, and that is really what I love about it. And then as the third option, you have, of course, the street food. So if you really want to live on a budget, you could eat street food for like $2 a meal every single day, and it's going to be really good food as well. Some of the best food I've had ever has been street food here in Bangkok. just earlier today, before filming this video, I was at this food court in this mall, Terminal 21, which is close by the condo where I'm staying. And they have this food court at the top of the mall. We have some of the cheapest food you'll ever find, and it's also some of the best food you'll ever find. I had this chicken biryani. It ended up being 60 baht, which is like less than $2, I think. And it was the best chicken biryani I've ever had in my life. And I live in Dubai, so that is saying something. Now let's talk about cost and taxes. So just like with food, Bangkok sort of has the entire spectrum. You can live extremely cheaply if you sort of live like a local. You eat the street food. You're not living in the Sukhumvit areas. You're living in more local areas in a more normal condo. You could probably live on like 500 bucks a month if you really, really wanted to. Probably for at least a somewhat decent quality of life, it's going to be like $1,000 to $1,500, probably $2,000 a month that you might expect to spend here. So I would say it's still very, very good value. Although in recent years, it has been becoming a lot more expensive because nowadays Bangkok is just so popular. Everyone knows about it. It's such a popular destination for nomads and foreigners. In terms of food, you can literally get a full meal that is amazing, like I just described, for like 60 baht, which is like whatever, $2. But at the same time, you can go to a higher end restaurant and easily spend 1,000, 2,000 baht on like a steak dinner or something like that. If you look at the average rents here in Numbeo, the average cost of a 1-bedroom apartment in city center is going to be just around $600 a month, and for a 3-bedroom around 1.6k a month. But surprisingly, prices to buy real estate are actually very, very expensive. It's almost been approaching the same levels as a Dubai in terms of buying. So buying in Bangkok, I don't think is a good deal compared to the other places where you could be buying around the world. In terms of taxes, if you stay in the country for less than 183 days, no matter what, you're not going to become a Thai tax resident. If you do stay over that, the tax rates are not the highest, but also definitely not the lowest. But the thing that makes Thailand attractive from a tax perspective is their rule that only money that is brought into Thailand is taxed. What it means, either money that is deposited in a Thai bank account or that is spent in Thailand is going to be subject to Thai tax. In terms of residency and company formation, now I probably wouldn't have a company in Thailand. Where I and most of my successful entrepreneur friends have their companies is in the UAE, in Dubai, for a couple of reasons. I've made a bunch of content about setting up a company in Dubai, running a business in Dubai, living in Dubai. So if you want to find that out, you can find those videos on my channel. Now in terms of visas in Thailand, there's a couple of ways people usually stay in Thailand. The first option that is common with all the backpacker people is that they simply have a tourist visa, and then when the tourist visa expires, they leave the country, come back in. For long term though, this is not something I'd want to do. I'd want to opt for a more legit visa. There are tons of options. What some people do is get something called an education visa, where you can get Thai language classes, and with that you get an education visa, and then you just have the visa, and all you have to do is attend some Thai classes from time to time, which is pretty nice anyway, I think. Then you have the LTR, the long-term residence visa. It's a couple of criteria that I think are, for most people, going to be pretty hard to meet based on if you're a worker in a specific field, earning a certain amount. And the most unique, most interesting visa in Thailand is the Thai Elite visa. It is essentially a visa that gives you full-on residency in Thailand for between 5 and 20 years based on the package that you go for. And it's full-on, like you can live there, it's multiple entry, no need to renew it every year, anything like that. And it also gives you access to a ton of interesting benefits like expedited immigration. You get all these sort of luxury benefits, discounts, all these kind of things. Very, very unique visa. The only downside is that it is pretty expensive as far as visas go. I think the cheapest one is around $25,000, which will work out to around $5,000 a year. But now very, very recently, they've also announced something called the New Destination Thailand visa that is meant to be essentially a 6-month digital nomad, like a branded digital nomad visa that will allow you to stay in the country for up to 6 months. Now this has just been announced like a couple of weeks ago, so we don't have all the details on this, but if this visa becomes live and it becomes into reality, then this is going to be an amazing option for someone like myself who would perhaps want to make Thailand their secondary home and stay under that 6 months of the year anyway. Now overall, is Bangkok for me? Now in terms of weather, I like warm weather, but not quite as warm as Bangkok is. And for my personal situation, the concern is that when I would be in Thailand would be in the summer, which is exactly when Bangkok has the rainy season and the hot season, when the temperature is actually very, very hot. So that sort of doesn't work out too well. But other than that, I really like the city. very, very bustling. It sort of has that New York City slash Hong Kong feel without the crime, without the problems, the wokeness, without the taxes, the crazy cost of living and everything like that. In terms of networking, now I do actually know that there are quite a bit of entrepreneurs here. I was actually recognized in an elevator to my condo building. A subscriber of my other channel, he was doing e-commerce or something like that. Anyway, I didn't end up meeting up with him, but I do know that there are a lot of entrepreneurs here who like the vibe, who like the city. But obviously the networking is not going to be at the same level of like a Dubai or a Singapore. So for the more serious networking, I would recommend having a base in one of those places, and then you could split your time between that place and Bangkok if you really like Bangkok. I also look for safety. Now, compared to any Western city, is going to be obviously very, very safe, but at the same time, obviously not at the same level of like a Dubai or a Singapore. But I've never really felt super unsafe here. There are some areas that are more of the local areas where you walk around that can seem a bit dodgy, but at least in the Sukhumvit area, the areas that I've been staying in, it's all been completely fine. Another thing I look for is just direction. I like to be in a place that is moving in the right direction. A big reason why I left the West and why I really don't want to live in places like UK, US is because I feel like they're just declining in so many ways. But I feel like Bangkok and Thailand are just developing very fast. They're modernizing, they're going in the right direction. The technology here in many ways is more modern already than in a lot of the Western countries that I've lived in. But I just like it because it sort of just offers everything. It offers the very, very high-end luxury and the very, very budgety kind of lifestyle if that is what you're looking for. And even the luxury is going to be a fraction of the cost that you might be paying somewhere else. So you could come here on even quite a modest budget and live extremely, extremely well. And it just has everything. That is what I like about cities like this. You have Grab, the app that you can use to order everything. Like, it's massive convenience at a fraction of the cost that you would pay elsewhere. This is really what I mean on this channel when I talk about going where your money gets you the most. The life that I want to build and that I want to encourage you to build is not the life where you're going to the cheapest places possible, but the places where your money goes the furthest. And I think Bangkok is one of those kinds of places. Let me know what you think down below. Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Which cities do you want me to go to? Which places do you want me to cover? And if you want to see my impressions from a different city in Asia, specifically Singapore, then you can watch this video right here. And once I've been to Kuala Lumpur, I will also compare it to Bangkok, and that video will be linked here.